crossroads of civilizations, cultures, and continents, and rich with a civilization over 1,000 years old, Morocco has always been a major player in the development of the Mediterranean area. The Morocco of the 21st century is still in full possession of its strategic dimension, a dimension conferred by a conducive geographical position and centuries of trade with Africa, the Middle East, Europe, and America. Having preserved a secular cultural identity, Morocco is a country which has always been very open and resolutely progress-oriented. It was able to build economic institutions and social policies that promote innovation, free enterprise, democracy, individual liberties, and a significant advancement of women's rights. The main sectors of the Moroccan economy are witnessing important changes: the agricultural strategy, the green plan, the energy strategy, the water strategy, the Haliadics plan for fishing, the Azur plan for tourism, the New Cities program, and the Ghetto-Free Cities program. All these measures are accompanied by a desire to optimize resources and skills, a commitment to sustainable development, and the preservation of natural resources and the environment in accordance with the enlightened guidance of His Majesty King Mohammed VI. Due to its geography and climate, Morocco is seriously affected by the negative impacts of climate change. The observations of the National Meteorology Division have confirmed the following trends: a marked drop in rainfall, an amplification and recurrence of extreme weather events such as floods and droughts. The kingdom's ground cover, a true ecological and economic wealth, is the first area to be placed at risk. Being heavily urbanized, the Moroccan coast is no less protected. Climate change, coupled with human actions, is leading directly towards a deterioration of the country's coastal heritage. The water sector is also seriously affected with a phenomenon of water shortages in some regions. The agricultural sector suffers from strong disturbances due to climate changes and their effects on rainfall and water resources. Faced with this situation, the Kingdom of Morocco is committed to sparing no effort to mitigate the threat of climate change. Committed to sustainable development since 1992, Morocco has been a signatory state of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Since then, Morocco has continued to renew its commitment to the preservation of its environmental heritage. Strongly affected by climate change, despite its marginal contribution to the emission of greenhouse gases, Morocco has set up a strategy to fight climate change based on two principles. First, to reduce global warming through a proactive approach to lower greenhouse gas emissions. This will be achieved by promoting renewable energy development and energy efficiency in all sectors. This policy will result in the creation of significant economic opportunities for Morocco. The second part of the kingdom's policy in the fight against climate change will involve reducing Morocco's vulnerability to the impacts of climate change. To act appropriately in response to environmental threats, Morocco has chosen a multi-sectored adaptation policy and identified the capabilities as well as the appropriate funding needs. In the framework of its national plan to fight global warming, Morocco has undertaken several measures to mitigate the impact of the climate change on the kingdom's environmental heritage. The mitigation measures adopted by Morocco relate to key sectors such as energy, transportation, industry, waste treatment, public works, civil engineering, construction, and agriculture. Ultimately, these measures are meant to spare the country 15 million tons CO2 equivalent by 2030. These measures are part of a growing institutional framework, including the forthcoming enactment of laws on renewable energy and energy efficiency, with the establishment of appropriate financial mechanisms. In terms of the number of clean development mechanism portfolios, Morocco is second in Africa. Also, Morocco has a dedicated authority responsible for the approval of these projects. In addition to this mitigation policy, Morocco also has an adaptation policy for the areas of meteorology, water, agriculture, forestry, and the fight against desertification. Morocco has succeeded in adopting a policy against the effects of climate change. This commitment, many times revisited since the ratification in 1995 of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, has resulted in an increased awareness accompanied by concrete and effective measures. This will make the Kingdom of Morocco an example of responsiveness and effectiveness in the fight against climate change.